Birmingham, the second city. Here we take a look at one of Birmingham's thriving communities, the Gay Village. Hosting an ever-growing LGBT scene, Birmingham's Gay Village also plays host to another thriving phenomenon, drag. Here we take a look at why drag has become a way of life for some, exploring the trials and tribulations which come with the day-to-day life of dressing in drag. Tyler has agreed to let us follow him through a typical night working at the Nightingale Club, a super club in the centre of Birmingham's Gay Village. Here, he'll be working as China, his drag queen alter ego.
I first started doing drag because it just seemed like, I don't know, a lot of points of my life kind of converged in it. Like, as a little kid, I didn't have a proper perception of gender like everyone else. Like, I have this really distinct memory of my neighbours absolutely cackling at me as they walked by me one day, and I had absolutely no idea. And about 3 years ago, I realised it was because I had my hair in ponytails with really big scrunchies in. So I've never really subscribed to normative gender roles. I haven't had any negative responses from my family because everyone who I think would have a negative response to it, I just don't tell. I don't bother. Why should it matter? I don't feel the need to kind of out myself because, I don't know, most straight people genuinely perceive coming out as kind of revealing your truth to the world, whereas I'm just like, fuck it. I wouldn't care if I told certain family members and they were horrified or disowned me, but I just wouldn't even want to bother causing an upset. Just let me get on. Everybody in the most people in the gay community love drag queens, but they don't necessarily like them in bed or in terms of kind of romantic or sexual relationships, because gay men tend to kind of deify straightness. They want rough trade, they want someone who can act and look and behave like a man, whereas they kind of can sometimes see us as the absolute archetype of femininity instead of appreciating that people can have a lot of facets. I've found some very, very clever boys who think that what I do is alright and just no different to being a painter or whatever. But yeah, the majority are just a bit too stupid and a bit too uneducated to be able to find you sexual out of drag. But I don't mind that because, oh well, it lends me a certain privacy. Because most people at the club don't tend to know what I look like as a boy out of drag. I try and keep the facets separate just a little bit for the sake of my own privacy. Every drag queen gets asked at what point does it change? And I don't think there's a change or a divide or anything. I just think that sometimes it's kind of like the thinnest mask you can wear is makeup. So it gives you kind of this weird clownish accessibility to people that you don't necessarily have as a boy. It protects you somewhat and empowers you act the way you would if you were 100% confident all of the time. Well, I don't do this for money, it's just a pleasant bonus to kind of keep the wardrobe fresh, keep trying new things. I do it for friends as favours and performing at their parties or events or whatever. I've performed and just shown up in drag to events in Digbeth. I love Digbeth First Fridays. I take her where I think she needs to be and where people are gonna appreciate the drag a little bit, because I think that the art scene, the queer scene and the general body of students needs to kind of bleed into each other a little bit more like it is in London, and then you get great nightlife and club nights, but at the minute we're all a bit segregated. I don't think it's specifically dressing as a woman that I find empowering. In fact, I don't like to identify as a female impersonator or somebody who acts or impersonates woman. It's kind of more me, one, playing into a story about a creature I made up in my own brain, and yes, playing with and subverting ideas of gender, because every time somebody looks at you, they think, what is it? I think we kind of demystify the gender binary a little bit by just dipping our toes in, because I can go back whenever I feel like it, but it says to people something, I don't know, it says to people something about their own ideas of gender and helps them unpackage it, I think, and that's what I find empowering. Plus, it gives you this kind of, it gives you the most control over your own appearance that I don't think you have if you're just going to put on a flick of eyeliner and walk out the door. It's an empowering thing to look absolutely nothing like yourself, and it grants you license to be however you want, really. I have a certain loyalty to this club. I work the weekends here, but if I do something outside the club, it is usually kind of an art event for a friend that I won't get paid for. Again, it's not about money, it's about encouraging people to kind of party in a slightly more interesting way. My inspiration's pretty disparate. I just kind of, I'm a kind of magpie of pop culture. I like taking things that are quite, I don't know, that feel like staples, like, I don't know, negligés, lingerie, like 50s nightwear, just stuff that is really kind of common and iconic, and then finding ways to rebrand it to kind of look rotten or withered or old. Well, I chose to go under a pseudonym as opposed to, I don't know, for example, my sister Lacey, who just goes by her girl name. Just because it kind of makes it feel a bit more distinct. It makes it feel like a bit more of a project or a character to work on instead of just me putting sequins on. It's a way for me to take myself a little bit more seriously, which I don't do very often, so. Like, there are a million ways that you can adorn yourself, and I think it's a very freeing thing. So why box yourself in?